Do you know what the dark legions of the world fears most? The innocence of a child. Because the child remains unfazed, undisturbed, unsullied amidst illusory chaos, amidst the world's negativity. You could say they're transcendent to negativity because they live in the realm of subjectivity, the spiritual world. And that's the truth. They see beyond appearance because they perceive essence. And their imagination is still fresh because it hasn't been tarnished by worldly nonsense. So they see clearly. They haven't developed the ego yet, in other words. So if we drop the ego and we come off of it, we can easily see this. We can see how the media, they rake in huge profits by feeding the populace nonsense, and they pretend innocence, when in reality, they're pushing manipulation, distortion of truth, and that pervades all society. We could give that a blanket term, call it negativity. But the child is not fazed by that. They remain pure and unfazed. And thus they're a threat. Such influences, if we can call them that, negative influences, are threatened by a mere child. It's a beautiful thing, really. The child is at ease, at peace, and doesn't have any worries. You know, video games condition and brainwash children to thoughtless maiming and killing. And that affects them for the rest of their lives. If they can't learn to let that go. Learn to come again as a child. Come full circle. Start off as children, and then, the world pollutes us with its negativity. But eventually, we want to come back to that childlike state of innocence. Take the rebirth of Christ, for instance. You know what that means? All that really means, from a spiritual viewpoint, is the displacement of falsehood by truth, of ignorance by awareness, of darkness by light. That's all that means. You know, some people actually believe that the form that they've imagined in their head of what Christ looks like, whatever picture they've seen or whatever, they think that's going to come and save them. They idolize that and put that on a pedestal. Hey, that's that's what's going to come down and save us. No, the Christ exists within you. I'm here to tell you. What's been called the Christic, or the chrism, the sacred secretion within the human organism, that's the second coming of Christ. And it happens within you. If we learn to come off of it, come off the ego. So I guess that's the whole essence of today's teaching. But the ego that clings to the mind, wants to interpret everything literally. So traditional teachings are not seen clearly, because the ego wants to worship the times, the places, the persons, the forms, the objective world, because it doesn't see past appearance. But even Christ himself told you not to worship his personhood, his persona. To perceive the essence of the teachings and see the message clearly. Worship that, if anything, because it's not so much the person as the high vibrational energy and frequency infused in the teachings that makes a difference in our lives. In our life. Lives is plural. There's not separate individual lives. We're all one life. This is a collective whole that we're all a part of, that we're individual expressions of. And yes, the teachings through the man called Christ had to express, but we need not worship his personhood, or anybody's personhood for that matter. But we can still appreciate what they're saying and the place it comes from and the truth in back of it. To enter the kingdom of heaven. Come again like a child. It's so obvious. Those who are impure in heart will see God in everything, because it's all around you. God is life. It's in everything. You need not get hung up on labels and identified with certain interpretations that prevent us from seeing the world around us and living a life that is harmonious, a peaceful existence, a life of bliss and knowledge and completion. Silence.